60 here. So I'm going to try this angle with my little craft that I'm going to do here, and I'm going to mimic making a kitten. So what we need is one sock, turn it inside out, turn it inside out. Then with a marker, we're going to make little feet on this side and on this side. So it's going to be laying flat on its little belly. All right, so I have already done that. I don't have a good marker, and I found that I was making it too close, so I will be using it from here and making it around. And there's the bottom. All right, so from here I have to sew around the little feet before I cut. So before I get started here, these socks are quite loose. They're not knitted tightly, so what I've done is I've doubled up my thread because I didn't have thick enough thread. Most of my thread is quite thin, and I went through Mom's supply of thread, and you know, they weren't thick enough because she did a lot of sewing. So what I've done is I'm going to start it here with my little sock, my little cat, and we're going to give it a try and see if I can sew this so that it holds nicely. So the next thing I have to do is cut out the little legs. Where I cut. Alrighty. So now that that is inside out, so I should have made it a little bit longer. I didn't, but we'll see how it turns out anyway. It's only my first attempt. I've never done this before. Oops. So the next thing we need to do is snip a little hole in this. See if we can snip it properly. There we go. I'm going to make a little hole so we can turn it inside out. Right side in, right side in. Right side in. Well, I could have made the little legs a little better, but we shall see. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is fill the little son of a gun. Okay, now that we got it all filled up, I want to make sure that this is up high here, and for some reason this got a little wider than I expected. So now I'm going to sew up the hole. Okay, the next step we're going to do is take the other sock, and I folded it inside out. And again, I don't have a very good marker, so we're going to see what we can do here. And we just want to cut out the part here. I hope that's okay. And then I got to sew around there. Okay, so now we're going to cut it across. You must have a good pair of scissors. Look how crooked that is. I'm going to turn it inside out, making her little ears pop up. Yeah, I shouldn't have cut it so short. This is my first time doing this, guys, so you are all sharing this boo-boos and fun with me. Yes, definitely should have made it longer, but anyway, he's gonna have a short little head. The whole idea of keeping it real, right, is to keep it real. Now what I have to do is sew around the bottom to make his little head pop. Oh, I hope this is going to work out. Okay, next we're going to make his tail. So we're just going to kind of go like this here and then cut. Now we're going to sew this and then we're going to cut it. Okay, finished sewing. Now we're going to cut it out. Do get yourself a pair of good scissors. These are crappy scissors. Here we go. Turn it inside out. Cute little tail. Okay, so I made a boo-boo with this tail. It's a little bit too big, so I am going to bring it in a little bit more to have it sit on there, and probably cut this part off. As I say, you're seeing it for the first time with me, so we're going to try it. I had another look at the video and the tail is much smaller, so we're going to leave the bottom part. See how that just kind of comes off? Anyway. So that's a little bit better. And I didn't have to cut anything off because, you know, it's all inside the tail and there's no stuffing there. I thought there was stuffing, but there's none. Okay, now we're going to sew the head on to the little guy right there. Okay, so I've sewed on his head, and just a little tip, you need to have him come back a little bit more in order for his head to sort of sit properly. Because I first sewed it and it was tipping frontwards, so I had to sew it back a little bit here. So, definitely needs a rounder head, this little cat. Too bad. But it's my first one. I wanted to try it. Now we're going to sew on the tail. We got to sew on the little tail. And there's our little kitty. Now I'm going to put a little bell around his neck. I think that's kind of cute. And we'll just tie that up in a little bow. I gotta cut my nails, they're way too long. And there we have our little, now the head I cut too short. If I had made a bigger, rounder head, then I would have used these pony beads for little eyes, but unfortunately I find they're too big. I tried it and it didn't look good. So for now, this is my little kitty. I would love to have a little face on it, but not all little stuffed animals have faces. This is my very first attempt at a sock kitten. It's Except for the head, it's a fail. It's a pass except for the head. Except for the head. If I could squish his head maybe a little bit more. I don't know. What do you think? Anyway, it just gives you some ideas on how you can create one of these things. I created it from DIY crafts from Innova Crafts. That's where I got that from. Innova is INNOVA Crafts. They have lots of 5-minute crafts and things you can do with that. So that's what I made, my little sock cat. Well, for my first attempt, I'm sure I'll get better as I go along. This material is for these socks. It just sheds so much all over the place. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me on my first attempt at making a sock cat. Next time I'll make the legs differently, make the little, head bigger. We all make mistakes. We all learn from them. But anyway, that'll go along with my Valentine card. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.